that relationship lasted all of 3 weeks. I swear. There were red flags everywhere.
Zilikuwa zina shine. China.
It was toxicity.
Republic of China.
Everywhere you turn. Hey,
Jesus.
red flag. That guy was a red banner walking. Antembea tu ni red banner. Wow! Gosh. Hi, we are two buddies, one mic. And this is episode 13. And thank God we're not doing it tomorrow because it would have been Friday the 13th. Wow.
Hey.
We're recording this on Thursday because tomorrow is a holiday. Holiday. So it's jolly.
We got you. You see the way we wait for content.
Pema and your best. And today we are inspired by the story of Mr. Kingaki. What happened? What happened on Classic 105?
So we're talking about toxic masculinity. What passes as toxic masculinity, or are metrosexual men doing too much? And I think that I was with him until a point because he was talking about some of you men in the 21st century are too well groomed. You're taking grooming to the next level. Here's the thing. I appreciate a well-groomed man, okay? I like a slightly metrosexual man. He, cleans up his house. He cleans up his face. He may use products here and there up to a certain point. Lakini ikifika point where my side of the dressing is less occupied than his, that's a problem. Anakwambia, do you use Laneige moisturizer? Either I got a fairly used man, or he also...
And that's where the question of the confusion
it's a thin line.
Yeah. Because is he a used man? As in he's had too many passes around the merry-go-round.
I got a used one.
Or you do street what the manicure coffin 6-inch GKK. Why do you know that, sir?
Like when I go to do my hair, I just need my man to say unaeka Abuja number, and even then I'll be like, when are you dating a kienyeji babe? Huo ni kienyeji gani ulikuwa una date? I want to know. So there's a thin line between a man who really grooms and takes care of himself, his skin, the way he dresses. Tumesema hapa many times, you don't want to be in fear of a man's next outfit. A man who has a sense of style, fashion, but also at the same time, it doesn't become feminine. Because I believe you can show up and groom yourself and look good.
Yeah.
And still not have any feminine quality or trait.
Yeah, and I think that's a struggle because most times we associate femininity or being too overly prepared and pressed and whatever to like a man is. Why are you in the alphabet community? Like what's the dealio? And oftentimes you'll actually see a lot of metrosexual men being put in that category. I even remember I don't even know whether I can speak on this because he didn't really come out or anything. Zia Kenya, Zia Africa. All he did was wear a top that was very much in his waistline, alafu akafanya hivi mikono, ikakuwa crop top. The whole internet is like LGBTQ. I don't think it's necessary for us to start forcing people to be of a certain sexuality if they're not. So that's usually the problem. When you toe that line too much, a little bit, it can be perceived as part of the community. Nothing wrong with that, but we're still not very open to that as the Kenyan society. I feel like there's still a lot of...
we're still a bit conservative as people.
Yeah. And so it can come off funny.
But I'll also ask you, what's the agreeable length of a t-shirt for a man?
So like waistline.
Okay, there are two sides to this. There's the way Mike Mushiri did his.
Yeah.
And it came off as a bit feminine.
Yeah.
And then there's another way you could, put on your pants or put on, like when we can see your butt crack and... That's masculine, but is it attractive? Because there are things that people can get away with, like, that's a man thing, showing off your butt crack to the whole nation. Sunbathing your behind, plumber vibes. Yeah, it's a masculine thing, but is it attractive?
Is it appropriate?
So now when I ask you, can you just put on your trouser kwa waist, ama upandishe boxer, do something. I don't like seeing your butt crack.
Yeah.
Because nine times out of 10, it's hairy.
Yeah. Another thing is that V. You know that V that men tend to have? The V right here. And you're like,
That's attractive.
However, he's also wearing something so short that we can actually see the V. So how is that masculine and sexy? And then a guy who maybe doesn't have the V, his shirt comes up a little bit and it's like, oh, why are you gay? It's. I feel like we've gone off tangent at this point because we're speaking about this whole
the dad bod
top
versus
thing.
the fit bod.
Yeah, you are entitled to have the body that you want. That's 100% okay, and I am 100% pro whatever. However, I think when it comes to dressing, just be decent. That's it. If it's necessary, yeah, you can show. I don't know. I'm not going to be the police on what people can wear because I don't want people to police what I wear either. Just be decent. That's it. Like if you feel comfortable, you're fine. You're fine. I think you're fine. Maybe just don't show us a butt crack,
Yep. I would hate to see that.
Now let's get into the deep dive of this whole situation of masculinity and where it borders as toxic masculinity. Because Mr. Mwalimu Kingangi was over there saying, oh, I remember a time when we used to go to the barber shop, hapo chini ya mti, mtu anatoa kisu, anakunyoa nywele. Okay. That, in contrast to you going to your barber shop and you're getting a nice wax, your eyebrows are being tweezed, your beard is being shaped nicely, you're getting that lineup, you're looking peng. And then you're continuing to get a massage, a facial, the extracting, the white, whatever. It's just like, why is there no in between for me? That's my problem.
And I feel that there should be.
Yeah.
There should be because I don't know what happened to barbershops. There was what barbershops used to be. These days mtu anagongwa sijui ni fed ama mnaongeza kala. Dye. They're sprayed the dye. It's like, I see why you're doing it. I see why you're clinging on to your hairline, but let it go. Come out, let it go. Because we can see, we are not blind. There's no way you're going to tell me that your hairline
like a Sharpie line. It looks like a Sharpie.
When did barbers become designers?
I don't know. Because why?
And maybe that's us being toxic. But I feel like, grooming for men used to be very straightforward.
Yeah.
But I feel like we've had more time as humanity. And now we are dwelling on the small things. Like getting my eyebrows done at the barbershop, clearing my unibrow. I don't want to see that.
Haya. Mwalimu Kingangi also continued to actually say that mwanaume ni jasho. In his own way, he said it, but mwanaume ni jasho. Like, we need to smell your hard work on you as a man. Why are you applying lotion below your legs? And I'm like,
wait.
Because the contrast is, you have ashy ass knees, my brother. Like, your legs are looking white. Like, what's going on? There has to be an in-between. Like, why does it have to be so stark and grim, or you're doing too much? You know what I mean? Like, I get that you're barely ever showing your legs. That's fine. You're always in pants. That's fine. But, like, really, truly, honestly, what's wrong with applying lotion on your legs?
Okay. I'll ask you a question. Would it throw you off if you watched a man like applying lotion all over his body?
I beg my husband. I literally beg him. Because he says he has natural oils. The minerals.
Skin is enough.
My body is exuding enough for me. But I'm like, bruh.
No,
listen.
You want to say the simple act of from a man would not throw you off?
No, I am 100% a believer in taking care of your skin. If you're going outside in the sun, please just use some sunscreen. Like, I'm begging you. I have bought 7 different variants of sunscreen, and I know he can hear me. I am begging, babe, you're going outside in the sun. You know you're sensitive. You will be burnt by the sun. Now you have sunburn. You know which you're recovering for many days. Can you please respect your light skin and apply some sunscreen? You know what I mean? I don't find it weird. There's a difference between just applying lotion and then
Taking
me
your
finding him in the washroom going like, plucking eyebrows. That would be weird. I'd be like, okay, you're doing too much. Like, where have you been? Because in this house, I've never seen you do that. Why are you twisting eyebrows? But like small things, like when I'm doing skincare on our date nights, and I do a face mask on him, which he resists so much. It's as if he's being killed. Oh my God, you would think someone is torturing him. It's a torture chamber just to put a mask on your face. Can you calm down? It's just one time for another, But when I find him now actively going to my bathroom, picking up the stuff and now applying it, like all on his own, he's getting my hand masks and my foot masks and he's doing all of the things. I'd be like, excuse you?
Somebody cooked here.
Excuse you? Mbona nagongewa? Ninagongewa wapi? Wapi ninagongewa? It would be an outer body experience because I've never seen him do that. There are levels to it. Like there's basic taking care of yourself, and then there's like a bunch where, why am I finding your foot on the tub shaving? Like what's going on? Can somebody tell me? Why am I finding wax strips in your bathroom? Like what is going on? You know what I mean? Yeah? But there has to be an in-between is all I'm saying,
But nobody enjoys a stinky person.
Oh, hell
Yes,
no.
you're going to say, oh, mwanaume anafaa kunuka jasho.
Oh, hell no.
But should they?
Why are you going out there
There's nothing attractive
Yuck.
about a sweaty person.
Bwanake ananukanga.
And here's the thing, there's a mask. There's a mask
Sexy mask.
that a man has.
Yeah.
It's there. That's attractive. But unanuka jasho. You mean to tell me you couldn't like hop in the shower before you jumped into bed? That's actually like assault. Because if we're covering ourselves with this same duvet and you're over there stinking like sheep or a male goat and I have to sleep next to you.
I can't even sleep. I have a migraine. Like, you know the way it can be so, that pungent, like you can't sleep. Your
Like
nose is getting dry.
If you bump into
You're
somebody
getting a
outside
migraine.
and they smell like sweat, you feel it. You're like, woo. Now imagine the same person
Sleeping in your bed.
got home, ate, farted, decided, I'm not going to shower, I'm going to jump into bed. Starts touching his wife. You think she's in the mood for anything? You stink, bro. And I've never understood the insecurity people have when you tell them, maybe you should grab a shower. Like, why are you getting mad at me when it's very obvious that
You need a shower.
this shower?
God damn.
I feel like it's just good manners
Yeah.
for you to come home from work,
It's respectful.
hop in the shower because you're going to share a bed space with somebody. That's like basic decency.
No,
If you're not doing
smells
that-
you can't sleep under.
And I think where he was saying that a man should not like smell like whatever is because of sometimes people do too much with the perfumes.
That's another one. Because again, we have to find a balance.
As a man, you have a
Can't be
signature scent,
acidic bio.
or you're drowning
Like,
in Edo toilet.
we're now getting migraines from your perfume. Umepaka yote. chukua
Unaingia
nusu.
matatu, kila mtu anafungua madirisha.
And
Hiyo sio fair,
there's a
bro.
deodorant. There's some deodorant. Kuna moja Faxe. Kiangai. You can smell it. Like that smell does not go out. No, please, no. Upgrade.
I feel like as a man, you should really just invest in a signature scent. Just sacrifice to ukukijua niko na this bottle of perfume. And here's the thing, you don't have to buy perfume every month. Like one can stretch you for even 3 months.
Good quality.
It's good quality. You only spray
Smells
one,
good.
two, you step out. Because again, perfume is not supposed to be in the place of a shower.
Yep.
You're supposed
It's
to
not
shower,
a substitute.
have deodorant. Perfume is not a substitute for deo. Please.
Now I can smell the layering of the perfume and the sweat.
Sweat and perfume is the most disgusting thing. And you see the way it's hot. So during the day, it is hot. At night when we're going home, it starts raining. Lazima tufunge madirisha za matatu. You either drown or we suffocate here. Because
There's no in between.
Joroge decided
atajipaka ile 300 pale kwa barabara. Look, I personally think we all know our bodies. Like, we can pretend, but we know our bodies. You know how much you sweat. Like, you know how much you sweat. There's no way you can look at your sweaty shirt and go, yeah, it's sweaty, but I don't stink. No, that doesn't
work like that. And you may not smell it.
Okay?
Because you're used to it. You don't.
Yeah, your nose
you can't
becomes
smell
blind.
yourself.
Yes, you get nose blind.
Other people do.
Okay?
No, this is mwanaume ni kunuka jasho, and then you just refuse. You abandon all hygiene.
There is no way
you're not even brushing your teeth.
Cracking. Yeah, there's no way your lips are cracking constantly, and you have a white line like this. Your saliva, every time you talk, it's like streaks and streaks. There's no way that is happening, and your breath smells good. I'm sorry to tell you, those two things cannot coexist. When you're hydrated, your body is not dry and cracky. So if you're dehydrated, you know your breath is stinking. So why are you exposing us? Please.
Another one, when it comes to the lips, okay? We've talked about moisturizing your lips. As a man, how should you do it?
Ooh.
Do you get a lip balm stick? You know? You as mame. And I know it's just lip balm. It's common sense that you're moisturizing your lips. Here's the thing. Buy like a small Vaseline. You say like a small Vaseline, put it in your car. I know it's chapstick, but there's just something about a man doing that doesn't do it for me. Yes, moisturize, drink your water, moisturize your lips, but do you have to use the chapstick is all I'm asking. Exactly. He brings down the visor like for the mirror to.
I can't do it. I can't. I'm sorry. It's weird as hell. Another thing. Listen. I get that men can rewear underwear. I don't recommend. It's disgusting. But I get it. You know, your body parts don't work. Actually, no, you should never wear underwear.
Because even if you pee, we know y'all don't
use tissue to wipe.
Y'all, that last drop that you shake everywhere and you don't care where in the bathroom it lands. Y'all don't wipe. Okay. I even saw a guy on TikTok say
skid marks.
Girls don't wipe. Why do girls need to wipe after they pee? Can't they just with their lips?
Okay, that's disrespectful as fuck, bro.
But just goes to say they don't think it's necessary to wipe after they pee.
Let me tell you, we can smell you pee. We can smell it. Also,
especially when you don't drink water.
Yes, I do your laundry. I don't want to see a skid mark. Like just like a line of just no.
Men should normalize washing their boxers as they shower. The same way I go to shower and I wash my underwear is the same way you should go to shower and wash your underwear at the same time.
Me thinking about dating a guy like that would just...
There's no excuse for your boxer to be in the laundry bin.
No. I wash all our clothes just the same way. Even him, he'll grab my knickers and he will wash them. It's very normal in our household. Mm-hmm. All I am saying is, as a man, like, you can't be that afraid of tissue paper. Like, you really can't be that afraid of touching your bum to the point where you just have skid marks. Like, okay, at some point, it's no longer, it's just, are you that homophobic that you can't wipe your own ass?
No, I think it's a thing. It's a laziness thing at this point. It's not even that. It's you being lazy. It's you willfully deciding that this is who you are. Because wiping doesn't take you a minute. You know, like, you wipe until the tissue is clear.
It's clear.
These are the lessons I'm giving my son. You know, so if I meet you at the age of 30 and I have to repeat the same thing,
skid marks.
It's not going to work out.
Skid marks.
And you can't play it off as I'm a man.
No, that's just
I'm supposed to have a mask. No.
You're gross. Please do better. Yuck.
I can't find skid marks in your underwear and give you head.
No.
That's done. If I
No.
ever find skid marks in your underwear,
Honestly, even jizz marks, like skid or jizz, like I don't want to find,
like I'm never going anywhere below your waist. Like it's
all I'm thinking about is the UTI you're gonna give me. That's all I'm thinking about.
We're done. We're so done because at 30-year-old man, it's not a excuse.
Yuck. And then you're the same person saying, "Oh, I didn't need to shower. I showered in the morning." Please, sir.
And you'll get on a platform and even talk about your preference in women, because after all, you're a man.
Open your mouth wide like that. Can you?
Toxic masculinity itawamaliza.
Tanisha,
you need to fagia kwako before you get on a platform and talk about what you require from a woman, what an alpha male requires from a woman, blah blah submission. How can I submit when you can't wipe your ass?
Excuse me. Can you please? Don't do it. Can't do it. I think
another one is food. The way we eat food. I know it's supposed to be very straightforward how we consume things, but do you get an ick, like just a random ick, when you see a man eating a certain type of food? And I think before even we turned on the camera, I told you, like on a sunny day, seeing a man with an ice cream cone, just that's me just being toxic, because obviously it was a hot day, but did you need the cone? You know?
And by the way, mind you, we're not saying that this is like the one extreme and then this is the other extreme. Again, there has to be a middle.
Like you can't
just be
like in Jugu. We're not saying do that.
There has to be a middle ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. There has to be. For me, it's how you eat a banana. There's a way, I don't mind.
Yeah.
But there's also a difference between
if you linger too long.
There's a difference between that and smack, you know? Or there has to be an in-between, okay? Bananas are tricky. Ice cream is definitely tricky, especially like lollipops and whatever. That's tricky.
Or a man with a lollipop, just...
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll even go as toxic as saying spaghetti. This is not a personal thing for me, but that... Or you struggling to
breathing. Like that heavy breathing.
Struggling to eat a food, or you can't just like use cutlery and you're struggling, or you're trying to cut meat and you're shaking the whole table. Small things when it comes to food and how you carry yourself around food. That's an ick for me.
Food noises. Let's just. I'll personally say food noises. Any food noise.
Or we go to a restaurant and because you want to be the man, you say, "I'll order for you."
Oh no! Don't do that. Don't do that.
If we were on a budget,
yeah,
you could have told me beforehand.
Yeah.
Just
and it's different. Again, very huge difference between, babe, what do you want to eat? And no, I got this. I know what you.
What do you mean you know what I want?
There's a middle.
Even I did not know what I want to.
Even I don't know what I want. That's why I'll ask you, what are you having?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have the same. That's different. Very different.
For me, taking over. For me, I think I generally have a problem with seeing men struggle. There's just something about a man having difficulty doing something that's just like, it annoys me because I'm like, with everything available to you, with all the perks of being a man, you couldn't do that.
You know what I learned today? I mean, actually yesterday, and I really want to send this to you. You know how you get very irritated by people who don't know and they keep asking you, like, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? Do you know why you get so irritated? It's because you've had to figure it out on your own.
So it's rather obvious that they should too.
However, something clocked the tea. Why did you end up having to learn how to do all those things on your own?
Because somebody else didn't.
Nobody taught you. Nobody gave you support when you needed to find out, right? Like when you needed to know, nobody was there to like hold your hand and tell you this is how you do it. So imagine when you're snapping at someone else, because like, get it together, figure it out. Aren't you doing the same thing that they did to you?
The cycle continues.
You know what I mean?
But still, as a man, you should do better.
Okay, yeah, as a man, you should do better.
As a man, you should. Like for children,
my point is,
well and good.
It's just...
And I even catch myself when I'm being short with my son, when you know, something that's obvious to me is not, you know, obvious.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's a child, you know, he doesn't get it. But a full-grown adult, I
think the problem with that is, again, because of, that wiring of men are supposed to be the solution. You know, like when you're with your man, you just turn a brain off and he figures everything out. But like there's also an additional aspect that sometimes you don't realize. Just the same way you feel overwhelmed when someone keeps asking you to do and sort. Like when it accumulates over time, and the way you feel resentful is the way the other person can feel resentful about this thing. You know, it's like, yeah, but I get it. I get I'm the man. I'm supposed to do all of these things. But like, why can't you help me out here?
True.
Why can't you take up some of these things over here? But now the problem again comes in for me in that particular aspect with the man is not letting you do it.
Yes.
Or they're telepathically assuming you should know. Like for me, just tell me, communicate. Like why? I know this notion of men don't cry boils into so many other aspects of, okay, men don't cry, men don't talk about the feelings, men don't do this, men don't do that. But I'm like, why don't you? Why am I supposed to somehow be, you know, Obi-Wan Kenobi? Kazi yangu ni, I can read his mood now, I know he's there. No, I don't want to live like that as well. That my whole life I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck you're on about, what you're thinking about. Like I am dictating and I'm always on eggshells as well. It's so much easier to just tell someone when something is wrong at the time that it is wrong, so that if there's a learning that has to be learned, they learn at that time. You know, I don't like this just pent up shit. And then you get to like 2 months later and everyone's mad at everyone because I'm mad at you because you were mad. I'm mad at you because you're not telling me what's going on. You're mad at me because I'm pestering you about what's going on because I should know what's going on. And then it just becomes this huge thing that is just very nonsensical. People end up breaking up. Like so many relationships end simply because a man couldn't just simply say, hey, I am struggling here. Like I need you to take up this particular thing so that I don't have to have this on my plate. You know, let's share the responsibility, not necessarily financial because I ain't that rich. I'm a broke bitch, all right? But like we can find ways to lessen the burden on me and on you equally, right? I think that's the one thing that pisses me off about toxic masculinity is it teaches men to be so I do. Like the only person they can talk to is their sister and their mother. Like, what are we doing? Can we?
You know what? I am with you to an extent because as much as it makes sense for things to be done that way, we've also not fostered an environment where men can safely do.
That's true.
If a man comes to you with a financial problem, you're like, oh, hell.
He's trying to scare me.
Like, very few women are Ryan Coogler's wife who will buy you a software and it'll, you know, amount to something in the end. But that's because we've seen a culture where men are comfortable with struggling with you, but when they get to where they want, you're no longer they're no longer what is available to them. They've unlocked a new tire, you know, they've unlocked, I could actually get that badly. And you, well, I'm a bit resentful because you saw me at my worst and I am a whole new person now. I have money. So being with you is just a constant reminder of where I used to be such a weak, vulnerable, struggling person and I do not want that. And as much as you want to blame them, even you, there are people who you don't want to associate with simply because when you knew them at a stage where you were in the gutter, you were in the pits. And I feel like men take on the burden of showing up and being able to do everything a lot more than we do. And it's a huge, strike on the ego when they're unable to.
Yeah.
But now it's the way they they manifest this, the way they communicate that I am not currently able to do this at this time.
Yeah.
The way it breeds insecurity.
Yep,
We've seen the Vera Sidika story where she said there's so much jealousy and resentment in relationships. And guys are like, yeah, when my husband found out that I was getting more money than he was super resentful, and he became borderline abusive simply because I was earning more. It was like I was fighting for his manhood.
Yeah.
So I feel like they should redefine what masculinity means to
Yes,
them.
100%. Yes, I agree with that 100%, because oftentimes it's okay, fine, I'll do this. I'll trust you and I will do this. I will trust you and I will support you with this. But I'm never too sure that you will also follow. You will follow through as well. Like, I'm not sure about the end result. So even when I'm trusting with a little bit of just like, I don't know what your reaction
men
would be.
are.
Yes, that's literally the only thing I'm hearing every day, constantly, 24/7 is like, oh, men will show you dust.
Exactly.
They will live in the desert with no water. They will. But like, when am I able to now also take accountability for what I believe? Like, as women, we really, honestly, I'll speak for myself, I really want to know what's going on. Like, just tell me. I may not have a solution, but it's good to know where you're at. It's good to know, how can I be how can I be of assistance? How can I aid you?
How can I show up?
How can I show
as a
up?
partner for you?
Yes, exactly. I want to be able to be given that chance. But simply because there are all these pre-existing, you've done this with someone else and then they showed you shege. Everyone has so much fucking baggage. It's just like, I just want to get in a relationship. Let's leave our baggage behind and just live, And I wish men would understand that sometimes we really genuinely also don't know, because this is new. True. I'm like, tell me. And then when you tell me, I'm like, oh shit. Okay, I never thought you would tell me. So, what do I do now? We're also learning, okay? We're also learning to be better partners. We've not been exposed to this side of good men. So when you finally land and you tell someone something and they follow through, you're like, oh shit, okay, so what am I supposed to do now? And it's easier to revert to like, oh, okay, but why can't you? It's very easy. So let's make it easier for both of us to learn together, right?
And I think that's the thing I really struggled with, especially when it comes to adulting and being an adult, because there's only so long you can blame your traumas and the way you were brought up. There's only so long you can actually use that as a fallback. I do this because I was raised like this. So like, trying to not have that herd mentality, because I grew up listening to my mother saying, your money is your money. In fact, you should have a secret cache of funds, because the way men move. So I'm already coming into adulthood with such fear and such. I need to look out for myself. Even when I'm getting into a relationship, I'm not getting in 100%.
Nope.
I am getting
into
a marriage with an exit plan.
Yeah.
By the time you see me walking down the aisle, trust me, I have a fund somewhere. I have savings, because one day this man might do so, And even the people who are supposed to be examples of what a good marriage are on podcasts talking about how my man cheated on me and I stayed. Because when he who finds a wife finds a good thing, he would tell me, and I'm like, so is this what the compromise in a relationship? To be disrespected 100%? So me into a relationship, I'm getting in with an exit strategy. I'm getting in knowing, if this man leaves me today, I can get an apartment and furnish it in the week. If this man decides we are done today, I can show my followers that I moved on. I never needed him anyway, anyhow. If this man leaves me today, I can continue paying school fees for my child. So like, it's just in us. And I feel like that mentality kind of gives other people or the men, like, she's going to be okay.
Yeah.
No matter what I do, she's going to be okay. Like the lack of responsibility.
Strong.
She's a strong, independent woman.
Finance, she's okay.
I'm not saying don't be cautious. Be cautious, girl, because have we not said men?
Like, learn your person, I think.
So I feel like instead of just going with the herd mentality,
let's personalize it to your person.
What works for your relationship?
Yep.
Is it a double income household? Because some of y'all need to be in double income households. You cannot survive. You cannot survive on a single income. So is it like that? And have you communicated that? Because resentment ingine, you start living with somebody and then you expect them
expectations and you never
communicated.
You never told them. And how am I supposed to guess?
You're both the same age. You both started working at the same time. You have the same salary. How do you expect him to have you living
in a Porsche
in the suburbs, and in the weekends you're going for road trips?
Girl,
it's not sustainable.
Girl,
it has to be a double income. Have you had that conversation?
Nope.
You grew up seeing your father was the one providing everything.
And therefore you
grew up seeing your mother was the one providing everything. So all of us, I think, are wounded differently.
Yeah.
So let's show up for our personal relationships.
And I feel like this is sounding very pick-me-sha, but like we're really telling you where we are at now. You know what I mean? Because like it can come off as, oh yeah, they're just saying that so much. No, we don't care about your men. We're talking about our own, right?
Yeah.
Like this is where I'm at in my relationship, that I really want to connect in a way that is sensible. You know, like when I sit down with my auntie and she's like, join sako kwanza, unajua wanaume, and I'm trying to block out that sound because I know my husband would never do that to me. You know. Or I try to believe. I believe deep inside.
You talk loud.
I have belief. I believe that my partner would never do that to me, you know. But at the same time, make sure that you're also having an environment where provoking and constantly trying to probe and see, okay, so what if I do this? Would he do this? There's also that you're constantly putting them on a training 24/7. Like, but babe, if I do this, would you do this? If I do this, would you do this?
There's never a moment of peace in a relationship.
You're always experimenting. You're always experimenting. If I do this, atariaktaje. Nikifanya hivi, atariaktaje. You're constantly putting this person.
Unasema asante mother-in-law. Kunizalia lawyer. Kila siku kesi. Gosh.
It's relationships are tasks in that you want to love this person with all of your heart, but you have so many traumas and baggage and all of this, and you have to find a way to shut that down, shut it up, so that you can be able to love this person the way you want to love them, right? Because for me, I came to the realization that it doesn't matter how it ends. It really doesn't matter. As long as I don't go with regret. As long as I'm not sitting down, uko mahali niko, nikisema, Aki, I wish I did. Aki, I wish I did. Aki, I wish I did. No, I will do it all. Kikini rams. But sitatoka hapo na regret. Ndakuwa nasema, for real, they fumbled a good one. Because you really did do a good job of being, hey, it's difficult.
Honestly, it is difficult. Because sometimes we usually sit down with Kathomi, we unpack.
Hours.
We unpack and unwind.
Kitupata hapo last week KFC.
And sometimes you even realize that even you are a victim of toxic masculinity.
Yep.
And we have so many expectations.
Yep.
And you forget that, he's just a boy. There's so much pressure.
Just as human as you are.
So much pressure to say, mommy, and does this for me, mommy, and... But babe, you know where your man was.
You really do.
You know
his income.
You know how much he makes.
Unataka aende aibe?
What do you want him to do?
Aende akue dumpster.
Where should he find these funds to take you to Cancun? There's so much pressure.
If you cannot afford to go to Mombasa, go to Mombasa. Right?
There's so much pressure to show up as somebody else, to not feel left behind, to see your friends doing things and you're like, Amma, this man is holding me back. If he is, imagine leave him. Because it's so unfair for you to expect things that are not possible at the moment.
They're not feasible, and you know it.
He's just a boy.
And you know the funny thing is the difference between men and women and how toxic masculinity has become what it is and how toxic feminism has become what it is simply this. As a woman, I can decide to just chill. Like if I wake up today and I say, I don't want to work anymore. You know, I don't. I want to just chill. I can very comfortably, but on the back of someone else. Is that really fair?
It's not. In conclusion, get your money, sis. Get your money, sis. So that anytime you encounter an ache, anytime you see somebody and you're like, I did not like that. Anytime you're talking to somebody and they pull out chapstick, you can walk away.
You can say goodbye.
You can say, I'm sorry,
this
darling.
was nice.
This is it. This is not for me. The Lord did not put me on this planet for this.
The brown bed sheets. You're not going like, but he gave me 5K. No.
If you can walk into a man's house and you notice akona range of products, different. Amegongo, na yeye si influencer.
La Roche-Posay,
Influencers upata tu
gifts.
Kama sasa mimi nimejaza tu kwa products hata situmii.
Magrai kore huko.
Ziko huko.
Maseravi huko.
Sikununua.
Marimba.
PR. Yeye si influencer. Lakini amejaza huko.
La Roche, CeraVe, kire, L'Oreal.
Either akona girlfriend influencer, ama number 2, he is a well-used commodity.
Amepitia. Anajua.
He has dated.
I'll never forget the day I went to this a guy I went out with first for a while. I've mentioned him, Lucas. For those who follow me on TikTok, it's Lucas. It's the Lucas whose closet I did not know what was in that room. Your room sikuwa ingia, it's that Lucas. I remember going to his house and I found a bottle of Vagisil. You know Vagisil? The vagina soap? Yeah. And like, whose is this? Whose is this?
So you asked?
I did.
What was the response?
Madness. He said, my ex used to use it, and I actually found that it was really nice for my... I believed him. Should have been a sign. That relationship lasted all of 3 weeks. I swear. There were red flags everywhere.
Zilikuwa zina shine. China.
It was toxicity.
The Republic of China.
Everywhere you turn. Hey,
Jesus.
Red flag. Guy. That guy was a red banner walking. Antembea tu ni red banner. Wow. Gosh.
Yeah.
I'm still living that trauma. Until today. This is trauma from 3 years ago. Sometimes walk out. Imagine 3 weeks. I still have this much trauma. Had I stayed there more than 3 weeks, ningefanya nini? Mungekuwa wananitoa Mathare by the way. Mi kichwa yangu imeshaenda. What are we gonna do? Why?
Afford living toxicity. See something, say something.
A man who's willing to give you an allowance of 100,000 and you walk away. Yes, because it's not about the money.
Release me.
How are you treating me, my friend?
Release me.
What am I getting? What am I paying for after you pay me? Okay?
You know, one of the situations where somebody just talks to you anyhow, because at the end of the day,
you're getting
they're
money out
giving
of
you money.
Yeah, don't do that.
Mimi hawezi ni stress. Unafikiria sijui kusonga ugali?
Guy.
Nonsense.
Because you want to live in an address. Sijui Kilimani, sijui Kileleshwa. He lives in Kileleshwa, that's why you're impressed. Girl.
I was not kicked out of my father's house.
Me, I'll go back to Kamulu. Nilirudi Kamulu. Kwani Kamulu ni wa... Si pia hiyo ni nyumba? Can you stop it? Please. Stop accepting...
But then, anytime I feel so overwhelmed with adulting and relationships, I usually ask myself, baby girl, ulifukuzwa kwenyu?
Technically, mimi nimefukuzwa. But that's a story for another day, okay?
Utakuja kwetu
Nishakuja kwenyu with that.
Tuishi huko.
Yeah, because sometimes it's really not that serious. I've told you, we were literally speaking about this yesterday. Remember when I told you, I am never afraid of starting from zero. Like, I am never afraid of starting from zero. That's the one thing that I had to accept. And I used to be so afraid of being alone and starting from scratch until life did come here. And I was like, wow, kumbe kichapo cha umbwa is not a joke. Because nilipigwa kichapo cha umbwa na maisha. After that, I'm never afraid to start from zero. I pray that I'm making sensible decisions that don't force me to go to zero. But if I need to go to zero to come back up again, it's okay. I'm fine. Hey, peace of mind, my friend. In conclusion,
the question we ask you at the end of every single episode, even the toxic ones. Did you like that? Did you like that?
The crowd goes wild.
See
your amen.
lazima
I'm
umalize na
channeling
amen.
SDA. Channeling SDA, the vibes.
Got it.
Yeah. Did you know that the guy who did the song apparently
Nyabuto.
Nyabuto, he's from the SDA whatever background. So I heard him speaking on the radio the other day. He was talking about how in SDA everyone is talented, everyone can sing.
Well, the way everyone is a choir member.
Everybody.
Love it.
It's a rite of passage to be an SDA choir member.
Go listen to Nyabuto's new song. Banger. Hajatoa Alfayo, by the way. I don't know why.
It's not, that's what they were flaming for. Because it's like, he gave us a teaser and then he just dipped. Like, what the hell, dude? What the hell?
Give us Alfayo.
Can you? Namsikilize Savara pia.
What the hell? What the hell?